All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear Rich.
Richie. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to you.
you.
Yay.
What are you, 29 again, Rich? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Awesome.
Hey, he just turned 21.
42.
So, to celebrate Rich's birthday, we're going to do a 4-hour retrospective on Vince from the ShamWow Vince. Not Vince McMahon, but the ShamWow guy. So, I've been doing my research, and
wasn't he
hope
the
you guys-
chopper guy too? Didn't he have the choppy thing?
Yeah, the slap chop.
Slap chop.
That's
You're going to
it.
love my nuts. Whatever happened to that guy? Didn't he go to jail or something because he was like actually a pedophile or some shit?
He's got to be behind bars, right?
I feel like Vince was up to some nefarious shit.
Let's see what happened. I just said I did my research and I was lying, obviously.
Let's see.
He was arrested. That's right. He was arrested for punching a prostitute.
Oh, yeah.
He was from Florida, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Oh yeah.
His name is Vince Offer.
Ah.
What a weird. Is that like his actual? That is his real name, isn't it?
I think it is, man.
That is so strange.
Oh God.
Oh
Here
no. That wasn't his real name. His real name, yeah. Well, he's better known as Vince Offer, but he was born as Offer Shlami.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the first article under there. NBC News: the ShamWow guy cleans up his act. Says the ShamWow guy, Vince Offer, has returned after a sex scandal to clean up his act with a new product, Invincible. It isn't just a 6-in-1 kitchen cleaner, though. It's a comeback. 4 years after getting into a
That's what I use my ShamWow for.
Huh?
That's what I use my ShamWow for.
Hey, hold on. 4 years after getting into a slugfest with an alleged prostitute, an incident that spawned a cringeworthy mugshot and headlines like ShamWow guy beats up cannibal hooker, the infomercial pitchman who became famous as an irreverent version of Billy Mays is launching a new product that's supposed to scrub persistent stains. Offer says the black mark on his name after the hooker incident had a silver lining. Dude, this mugshot is fucked up.
What do you think?
We need to bring back celebrity boxing so we can have him against the My Pillow guy.
Oh, I would love that. Dude, all right. Did you guys see his mugshot?
The Vince?
Probably time.
So the reason I ask is like his mouth looks like a tilde. Or not a tilde. What's the little a tilde. The little fucking like
the squiggly line?
Yeah. Like I've never seen somebody's face like that before.
Yeah, he got beat up pretty good.
Holy
shit. They have the prostitute too, and he like Chris Brown her something fierce.
Shit. Well, that's not as funny anymore. But yeah, so he I guess she didn't like his nuts.
No.
This is what ShamWow can do for you, is TMZ's thing under her picture. Allegedly.
Gives a whole new meaning to the slap chop.
Apparently. Wow. Well, good. I'm glad we did a few minutes of that one.
Prosecutors dropped the case, though, so everything's still alleged.
I feel like he used some of that sweet ShamWow money to.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that picture. That certainly is damning enough.
Yeah, I mean, he did jail time, so
yeah,
they had to figure something out. So let's move on to the first topic that we wanted to talk about, because Tom and I talked about working from home last episode, and you kind of had a different perspective on it because you've been kind of reaping the benefits a little bit.
Yes. I was walking the dog, and I was listening to the podcast, and I'm trying to remember what was said. There was stuff. Oh, you said that it would. Okay, so I'm in a little different boat than I guess you guys, just from what I do. I'm I guess technically I'm a software engineer. So yeah, and we're a startup company in quotes, even though we've been around for a while now. That was originally based out of California, so we have that California mentality. So we always had like work from home days and shit like that. And when COVID hit, they closed both offices. They got rid of the San Francisco office as soon as they could, just because of like you guys said, the cost associated with it. We just signed a big lease in Radnor, so I think they started to sublet the office there. So I think technically we still have that, but I'm not sure at this point. Yeah, but they moved everyone to a work from home. They pay for, they give us a stipend, but it basically covers our internet cost. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, but it's a decent amount. Yeah, and technically, I guess I'm not technically. I'm a salaried person, so I don't work hourly. But it's always like you get your work done, kind of a thing. Even when we were in the office, we were like we never had set hours. Like I said, you get to the office when you get to the office, and you leave when you leave. As long as you're getting your work done, nobody really cares. And they found since everyone went work from home that we're actually more productive. And some of that it does go towards some of the stuff Bob was saying, where it's like, well, I do feel like I have to be more productive because nobody's watching me do my shit, so I have to get the shit done. But a lot of it is, I mean, people are home with their kids now, so they'll stop to take their kids somewhere or drop their kids off. Or a lot of people, me included, got COVID puppies too. So I've never been away from Enzo. Like I've worked with my dog since I got him. So I'll stop to let him out, or he'll come in to see me, and we'll just take a break. He'll be in calls with me. He's actually in the background now, asleep. You heard me come in here. But yeah, it's nice. It started out really liking it, just because it did offer some more freedom. If I wanted to, I get up at 5:30 usually. So if I wanted to, I could get up at 5:30, walk the dog, do a little bit of work, go to the gym, come back and do a little bit more work. Stuff. The fact that we had in San Francisco people here meant we were on 2 different hour or time zones anyway. So depending on what projects you were on or who you were working with, it would work out better if you could just, even though we're on the East Coast, work on West Coast time or vice versa. The only limitations we have, because we work with health data, is you have to be in the U.S. You can't work anywhere outside of the U.S. It's funny. I like to tell people I bought the house in Pennsylvania because I was working out here, and I had an hour and a half commute from South Jersey where I was living before. So I bought the house, and I wanted a fenced-in yard for a dog, and I wanted a finished basement. And within 2 years of living here, the dog that I had died, and my basement flooded, and I could work from anywhere. But on the positive side, I bought a house at the right time because I got a real nice interest rate with real shitty credit, and I wouldn't get that now. So, yeah, I don't mind being in PA. But yeah, like I was telling you guys online, I could. There's days like my mom's been coming down to stay with me here and there, so I'll like go hang out with my mom during the day. And then as long as I get the work done, either, the day before or that night, it's no big deal. We just have like a bucket of tasks that we have to do. And we just grab stuff out of that and finish it. So it's kind of cool. I do miss the being around other people. I didn't think I would. It's slowly getting a little a little more like I'm missing people. But we're doing monthly meetups. Like they rent office space, and we all go to that office, and we'll do planning meetings there, or we'll all just work there, and they'll give us lunch or something like that. So it's not, it's making it a little better. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to cover. I did notice with all this stuff with Twitter and what's his name taking over Twitter and making everyone come back to the office and shit like that. whenever there's a story about Twitter on Fox News and you read the comments, everyone says how entitled everyone is for. Oh, they don't have to go to the office. They're just fooling around at home. But I don't think anybody understands, especially the Fox News commenters, what a stuff actually does. We have no. I mean, it's different than it was. I'm going to say, I guess technically I've been a software guy for 15 years now. 10 years, 10 or 15 years. Before that, I worked a corporate help desk job. And let's say if I've been doing it for 15 years, at least the last 7 years, everything's been a serverless architecture. So even though we had an office in Radnor and an office in San Francisco, we use Amazon's cloud services for everything. So like nothing was faster in the office because we're still connecting to the Amazon cloud. So technically, like I said, you could work from anywhere. Just legally had to be in the U.S. And that means literally you can work from anywhere. I've worked we've had people working from beaches and stuff like that, just jumping on the calls and shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I like the freedom that I get from working from home. And then to keep things separate, I'm lucky enough. I mentioned to you guys that I'm working upstairs now, but I have an office downstairs too. And I tend to, when I started doing this work from home stuff, I made the office upstairs my work office, and then I do fun stuff downstairs, more or less.
Yeah, you mentioned that in text, saying that you still have that separation. So I think that was one of the points that we tried to hit hard too, is having that separation and then having the that camaraderie. So it's like you're still getting that, you know what I mean? Like you still have your monthly meetups.
The other thing is, I mean, it was when I worked at a law firm. I mean, I had a micromanager looking over my shoulder, watching everything and stuff like that, and that was rough. But just, I mean, every software job I've ever had, as long as you're hitting deadlines and stuff like that and getting work done, it's always been like, do whatever, take whatever time you need, do whatever, shit like that. I haven't felt that whole, like, oh, I need to watch you. Like, I don't feel like I'm being watched. I'll put it that way, that kind of thing.
No Arby's if in the closet.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I think whenever we've talked about it last time, I Bob and I were both kind of like, really, I think for us it was more of the camaraderie aspect, and probably because we both enjoy what we do. But it was, we both. I mean, I work in a small office, even though we have a ton of employees. And I service 8 different buildings, and a lot of different things going on there. While I can do most everything remotely, 99% of what I do basically at this point, mainly because of architecture that I set up myself, for that reason. It's also a curse at times, because then it becomes an expectation of, wow, well, yeah, I am, like you said, sitting on the beach, and I can remote into said server, and I can perform said task. It's just a matter of like, oh yeah, well, I'm actually on vacation.
Like I've actually, like I said, I started going to the gym, so I do that 3 times a week. And I originally went just like whenever it fit in with the schedule, and then I started to get a little more. Like I said, now I go at 6, 7. I go at 7 because I take the dog out at 6. But like I've become friends with the guy that sells me toys down the street, so I actually go to breakfast with him and another guy every Tuesday. And then on our walks with the dog, we become friends with the neighbor down the street who has a dog. So I hang out with him now. So I just, you do. That's, I guess that's my companionship thing. It's not quite as much. We chat throughout the day with the people at work, and we have a pile of meetings and stuff. Like I still have meetings constantly, but it's all, like you guys said, it's all Google meetings. So you're constantly there, or Slack hangouts, crap like that.
Yeah. All right. We had some tech stuff come out, or at least have been announced, and I'm kind of curious to see what your guys thought on this. Is Apple has decided to release their own headset of sorts. It's in that VR space, but a bit different. So curious to see what you guys' first impressions are of, obviously something that you can't get your hands on yet. But Well, what do you think?
I mean, look, the tech looks awesome, and I think it's got some really good ideas. Especially the vision. I forget what they called it, but where like you can be doing your VR and it makes the like the screen thing so people can see your eyes or it digitizes you. I don't even know exactly how it works. The way that I saw it represented was in a comedy sketch on TikTok where they put these giant googly eyes on them. And then, like, yeah, the eyes look a little digitized, but at least I know they're paying attention to me. So, but you know, I think it's got some cool features. I think it looks really neat. I would really like to have one, but I also am not willing to step up to the plate for the cost.
Yeah, it's a heck of a price point. By all accounts, it looks like the launch is $34.99.
Yeah.
That's up there, especially coming from us who we have really hit Sony hard with the price of the PSVR 2 at what is that, $600 or whatever we've talked about. And I realized this is a bit, yeah, it's something high, but I realized that this is a bit different. But still, now you're talking of a product in this in a similar space that's now, a few $1,000s higher.
The biggest difference, though, is this is a computer. So it's a computer and a headset all at once. So it's like, do I buy the next MacBook Pro or do I buy one of these instead?
Right. It's what they call spatial computing, and to me, just based on everything that I've seen, it's a pretty neat blend of AR, VR, these different things that we've all kind of grown accustomed to over really the last 10, 15 years. But of course, Apple is going to have their own neat little proprietary spin on it, and the tech behind it's awesome. It's really, really neat looking. I'm just, I've never been an Apple person. But I do appreciate the products, especially aesthetically, and the tech behind it. But this thing, just the price point, just kind of kicks me in the gut on that one.
It's literally the Iron Man. Well, it looks like the Iron Man interface when you see him dealing with those screen things and pointing and swiping and shit like that. So
yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm trying to think how much I spent on my laptop when I bought my personal laptop. Definitely $2,000, if not a little more than that. So it's like that. It's like if I'm not planning on upgrading anytime soon, but if I were to upgrade, first of all, you never buy Apple's first iteration of anything. So you wait to see this thing anyway. But the specs are, I mean, just looking at some of the other stuff is insane. It's like they're two 4K OLED displays, but with such dense pixel density. It's supposed to, the people that have used it have liked it so far. They said it looks beautiful and all that other stuff. But the price is even high for me. Like I said, yeah, I still don't have a PSVR 2. I'm not buying one of them. I'm not buying one of these. So
yeah,
unless all the reviews come out and I was like, you absolutely have to have one of these. And then it also looks like the cover from Ready Player One, the movie, and that just kind of bothers me a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like as far as computers, the last MacBook Pro I bought was I think 22. It was 2,200, I think, when I bought it, or did I get it on sale? In any event, it was somewhere around. I don't remember if it was $18.99 or if I had to buy it at full price, but it was up there. Unfortunately, that one got a Tervis tumbler full of ice water poured on it, and it died an unceremonious death. But my iMac Pro or whatever the fuck I'm using now, I can't remember what the fuck it's called. It didn't cost like a third of that, and so I'm like, oh, dude, like I could sell my Mac, I could sell my PS5, I could sell my Switch, I could sell my Windows computer, and probably two of the TVs that I have in the house, and still not make enough money to hell. I sold my car like a month and a half ago, and I didn't get enough to buy this Apple headset. I'm definitely not getting one anytime soon. Maybe if they're like, oh, somebody takes pity on me. And it's like, oh, look at that poor Make-A-Wish kid that's got progeria and a white beard. Maybe they'll give me one, but they're not. No. Otherwise, I'm not.
This could be something that we possibly end up with. One, what I do just mainly for the sheer fact of we do like to pick up items and tinker with them at times. I don't know that the price point hits that necessarily. That's going to be the kicker. But because we have been pretty ahead of the curve in certain things of what we've done as far as getting devices in the hands of students, whatever. So I could see that going down the road if there's like some kind of because Apple has their own separate educational space. So if they promote it that way down the line for a bit cheaper,
it's a big step up from a Chromebook.
Yeah, well, it's funny though. Now it's like I just ordered myself another one through work, and i7, 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, it's basically like Mac Pro level, entry level specs. So they're even the Chromebooks are going down that road now as far as like neat stuff. And the heck, the one I've been using, the one I've recorded on for the last year or so, this is spec'd out pretty nice. It's an i5, 16 gigs of RAM.
See, what we need to do is figure out a way to write it off as a business expense, and then we can get one for each of us, and we can film. That's how we can do our YouTube show. We can kick off by us doing a virtual noise brigade, and like people with them can join in. They can be in the audience, and then that's how we get them.
We'd find some way to like ruin that too.
Oh yeah, we would get kicked off in the first day.
Oh yeah.
Do we even make it a full 24 hours, or do we get kicked off an hour like 18 or 19?
I don't think they give us 15 minutes. To be honest with you.
As soon as we come on, Rich goes, "Hey, what's going on?" And then it cuts to
I'm curious because I didn't know a whole lot of some of the interesting spec things. I assume this is like wireless charging or USB-C or Lightning, whatever.
No, it's if you're not plugged in while using it, you have a battery pack that it's attached to, and you get 2 hours of battery life on the battery pack.
That's kind of where I was going. So,
but if you're plugged in, I mean, you're going to be sitting at a desk. It sounds like I said, it's more of a laptop desktop replacement than a true just VR AR thing. It's like It's supposed to be your environment.
So my biggest concern with it, and I'm sure they figured it out. They have to have figured it out, is heat dispersal. Because if it's the whole PC, the whole computer
unit on your head, yeah.
I would figure that might warm up a little bit.
I don't know. Because my people, both at work and I use Macs for work and home, and they both get hot, as even just with a Google meeting. These have the new. I haven't used an M2 MacBook yet, but it's their processor with a new coprocessor to handle a lot of the AR VR stuff. It just sounds like I don't know if it's a GPU or what it is, but it sounds fancy, but it sounds hot. So yeah, you're right. I have no idea. That'll be interesting. That's why I by the first one. People are going to put these on, and their eyes are going to melt. And
that's
version 2.
It's such a good point too, because it's like, and here's the thing too. It's not going to be one of those things that's going to be right off the bat. It's going to be 3 to 6 months down the road.
Yeah.
Because of any kind of use, or someone's going to figure something out where they have some application installed. What was that?
I don't know if you could trying to get it. Yeah, speaking of MacBooks getting hot, that was my dad's. It caught fire.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So yeah, I definitely.
So what happens the first time when one of these catches fire on someone's head?
Everyone points and laughs.
Yeah, nothing. Just like when the Tesla exploded, nobody cares about it. People care, just nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you can't put it out easily. So when one of these explodes on your head,
Just get a
stop.
brick.
Yeah, stop.
The little eyes on the front get all big and scared looking though.
It just goes to error. What's that? No, it goes to the sad like Mac face. Like
That
is apparently
X's
is
over the eyes. It's just got the
It's
little
got-
X's over the
It's got
eyes.
a pile of cameras inside of it that use it for eye tracking. So theoretically, it knows what you're looking at, and you select the icons and stuff like that. But when you want it to, it uses those cameras to display your eyes on the outside, so people can see that you're in an AR,
right,
as opposed to a VR mode.
which is pretty
And when
neat
you go to
because
VR, it does like a blank out thing.
that eye tracking technology has been around for a long time. We had a someone that I knew that can only use motion, eye motion. So we ordered a computer that basically this was years ago, that was only controlled by their eye blinks and eye movement. It was really, really pricey back then, but it's really cool to see how far that kind of technology has advanced into something like this anyway. Just sucks that the price point's still kind of, but like as Rich said, I completely agree. It's more of a, it's not really a desktop. It's not really a laptop. It's meant to be in that same space. And I think that's why they're really promoting it as a spatial computer. It's ahead of being AR, VR, even though it's all those things included. It's not just, the PSVR, it's obviously much more than that. It's much more than a Meta Quest or whatever.
We mentioned this before, but you can't watch VR porn on your PlayStation VR. So you probably will be able to on the Apple VR because it's just a computer. So there you go. Apple's actually a little less locked down.
Rich is ordering it now.
You can do it with those. What's that thing Facebook has? The Oculus. I've never played with one of them, but
yeah,
they're supposed to be nice.
It's okay. Peyton still has it. He goes through
it's like a phase thing with that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was really into it for a while, and that's like all he wanted was like, hey, can I get this? Can I get that for it? And then he literally tried to sell it not too long ago. But they wouldn't. Apparently, places won't take him unless you have the box, and he threw the box out.
Yeah, my kids are the same way with it. Very, very, very hit or miss. It's like, this is really cool, and then it's like, I would rather do this instead. It's weird. I can't. I've said that many times on here. I can't mess with stuff like that anyway. It just makes me sick. So
yeah,
I used the PSVR one only like way less than I thought I would too. So it is kind of a thing. There's a couple games that I really like, but once you play through them, it's like,
Yeah, there's not much replay value to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like with 3D movies. Like, yeah, there were certain ones that I was like, oh, that was cool watching that in 3D, but do I want to see it in 3D again? No. I'll watch it in normal, 2D mode.
Yeah, I remember sitting there the first time I put it on, and you're sitting like one of those scenes where you're sitting like at a bar, or you're in a lounge, and the smoke is coming up, and he's from a cigar or something, and it's really cool because you want to reach out and just touch it. It really looks awesome, and you see it again, it's like, oh, this is still cool, but you see it for like a third or fourth time, you're like, the replayability and looking at things, I completely agree. Just not there. So, but I don't know. Speaking of kind of hardware stuff in that video game space, though, Bob, you had mentioned something about Phil Spencer Xbox comments on hardware.
Phil Spector, the king of Xbox. So they did their kind of Xbox Expo, or kind of like their equivalent to the PlayStation's Days of Play, where they announce new games, they announce new hardware they have coming out and stuff. And so they did announce one bit of new hardware, which is an updated Xbox Series X. It's going to be in black now, carbon black. And it's going to have an upgraded 1 terabyte solid state drive in it instead of the 512 that shipped with the original. Aside from that, no changes to the hardware, no beefing up the power, no improvements. And then when asked about the Xbox Series X and the Series S and where they stand as far as performance-wise, he made a very strange comment as far as I'm concerned, because every generation for Xbox, aside from the first generation, there's been iterative releases of the hardware. You had the Xbox 360, you had the Xbox 360S, which was the slim, then you had the Xbox 360E, which was like the Econo model, and that one actually had a different connector for the AV and for the power and everything. So it was like, think the PlayStation 2 Super Slim. It's kind of like that. Then you have the Xbox One. The Xbox One came out. The Xbox One S came out, the Slim, and then the Xbox One X, which was codenamed Project Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio. So I had to buy that. I bought that version of it. But where that went was, instead of each one kind of beefed up the hardware a little bit. So there wasn't any noticeable changes, just more between the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. It just made it smaller, it made it more efficient, and it got it took the power brick and put it inside the system. And so it had, they just improved processes, improved chipsets, that kind of stuff, but nothing that really changed the way the games ran performance wise. Then the Xbox Series X came out, or the Xbox One X came out, and it was basically the PS4 Plus, where it's a beefed up hardware revision. You can play in 4K, you can play different games, and it was better. And then so the Xbox Series game or systems came out, and you have the Series S, which is kind of, it's like the fringe level of next gen. But no optical drive. And then you have the Series X, which was touted at the time as being the most powerful console to ever be released. Now, we all know that Sony is working on something aside from the Project Q. There's been talk of a modular system. There's been talk of a PS5 Pro. And Xbox has already said they're losing this generation. There's no two ways about it. They've lost. They're not sure if they can make it up. So you would think, while the Xbox Series S developers have been complaining about, they said it's holding back this entire generation, and the Xbox is losing, so maybe they need to beef up the hardware a little bit. And Phil Spector said, nope, I don't foresee us doing any kind of hardware revisions. I don't foresee us coming out with a more powerful system at this point. We're where we need to be for this generation. And that just struck me as kind of odd, knowing you're losing, unless they're just like cutting bait, and they're cutting their losses, and they're like, we're just going to throw everything we have into whatever the next console generation is, whenever that comes out. I don't know.
And it wasn't that far ago, 6 weeks, that he kind of, in so many words, said, look, we lost the console wars. I mean,
yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. I have not even touched an X or an S or whatever, so I don't have any frame of reference.
I mean, the only other thing that they've done really, besides the revision to the S, as far as now releasing it, it'll be $50 more. Is they have worked both the S and the X use a proprietary memory card, which in the past I have destroyed Sony over for how they've handled the proprietary memory card for the PSP and the Vita. But what they did is they worked with, I want to say Seagate, to make the proprietary 1 terabyte, 512 gig, and 2 terabyte little memory cards that plug in. And the frickin' the 1 terabyte one, or no, the 2 terabyte one, when it launched, or maybe it was the 1 terabyte one, whichever one it was. Anyway, they're expensive as hell, is my point. And they just recently released did a price drop on those, and somebody else is making a competing one, and that's why the price dropped on them. But if you were to upgrade your original S to with the 1 terabyte, it ends up being as much as a Series X.
Yeah, they're over $200.
Yeah, so it's kind of stupid at this point. Like, it's good on them for throwing the 1 terabyte drive in there, but even though those prices have dropped a little bit for the external options, you've got to drop that more. You have to, because the only games you can play on those systems through an external drive, if it's not the ones that slot into their one little memory expansion bay, is old games like Xbox 360 and Xbox One games. You can play off of the older hard drives, but not with the patches for the Series X. So if any of them have any kind of upgrades, like if any of them received any 4K upgrades or anything like that, you can't play those ones unless they're on the internal storage or on those little proprietary drives. Kind of like how PS5, you can only play PS4 games and before from the external hard drive connected through a USB port.
And that makes sense just based on the tech there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. It's not, I'm not saying that, they're wrong for doing that, but knowing that you're really doing a disservice to your base, to your player base, if you're making it so expensive to upgrade your systems. At least with Sony, with the PlayStation 5, you can walk into Best Buy or go on Amazon and buy, relatively inexpensive M.2 drive and throw that in there, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, the cool thing is there's multiple brands of those too, so you can pop on Amazon anytime and get one. I bought like a higher end one, overpaid on it, but it was still nice to do. I didn't have to buy anything that was proprietary, if you will.
Right.
It's like just made sure I had to buy something that fit the system.
Right.
I don't know. Rich, what do you think about anything Xbox related? Anything tickle your fancy?
Well, the other news that just came out with them, I think it was like just yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, but their deal with Activision isn't quite falling through, but it's being blocked by the FTC, right? FCC?
Yeah.
Whichever one it is. It was being blocked in Europe. Now it's being blocked in the US. But I could see Microsoft going like Sony and just giving up. They put a lot of money into buying up developers, and they're not really doing anything with them right now. So I could see them eventually just dropping the hardware division completely and becoming a software company, just making games, becoming a publisher, rather.
Yeah, and you're right. It's the FTC that's come out within the last day or two.
Yeah, and I can see that too. Honestly, I feel like that's the way it's going to go, and I hate it because I am an Xbox fan. But really, they're not doing anything with these developers that they're buying. When's the last thing that Rare put out besides Rare Replay? Because I couldn't fucking tell you. Rare Replay was excellent, but it wasn't new games.
GoldenEye, the GoldenEye remake.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So the GoldenEye remake. But the GoldenEye remake came out on the Switch too. And it was, if you have the Xbox and you have the Rare Replay disc, you get it for free. So it's a shame, man, because they could be doing so many more things. Now Microsoft owns Gearbox, I think. Whoever they own the studio that makes Time Splitters, which is one of my favorite franchises. And there's been starts and stops and starts and stops. And I remember there was even a Time Splitters promo where it showed the Gears of War logo, but it had the stupid monkey thing from Time Splitters in it instead of the Gears of War logo. Like, do something with that property. Do something with maybe not GoldenEye, but do something. Perfect Dark. The last Perfect Dark we saw was that shitty one, the launch, Perfect Dark Zero for the 360. Like, you have properties. Fucking use them. Conquer. Make another Conquer's Bad Fur Day, for fuck's sake. Make Voodoo Vince. You've got all these great. Grab by the Ghoulies. Make another one of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't really touched because Time Splitters is its own entity, so you could mess with that. GoldenEye obviously is it is what it is. You know, it's a movie property still, so you got to be careful with how you approach anything redoing it other than what they've been doing with it. Conquer, I don't know that you could make anything in that realm these days that's going to be mass to the masses anyway, like that was. I don't know. I almost think if you'd release it, you'd get as much backlash as like Postal did back in the day.
Well, hey, listen, you know what? Maybe that would get people to buy Xboxes.
Yeah, it's possible. I
You
don't
know?
know. It sucks though. You're right though. I completely agree. I hate to see these companies. No, it's not just Microsoft. It's other people do it too. They buy up these properties that people love, and they sit on them. And there's nothing ever to be seen from again. Or if it is, it's like whatever.
Like fucking Hasbro. You know what Hasbro did? Well, first of all, let me say, Fable's coming out for the Xbox, and I can't wait for that. That looks great.
That does look cool. I will say you
love the
shared
Fable
that on Facebook. Checked out the video. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love the Fable series. I can't wait for that. But no, like Hasbro. Hasbro went and bought the GoBots because they were the fucking they were the competitors to Transformers. And with the GoBots, they got the Rock Lords. Where are our new Rock Lords? I demand Rock Lords, damn it. Right? Transformers Rise of the Rock Lords needs to be the sequel to Rise of the Beasts.
Steven Tyler's my only Rock Lord.
I'm completely kidding. I'm completely kidding. That fucking... I still don't understand fucking Rock Lords. Hey, kids, you want this robot? Guess what it transforms into? A rock! Like, who the fuck wants that?
I have a collection of them in my basement.
Of course you fucking do.
I was going to say, if you look over Richie's right shoulder, it's right there.
So let me ask you this: did you have the what was it? The Bunker Hill playset for Mask?
I have it now. I didn't have it as a kid.
All right. So do the Rock Lords fit where the big boulder goes at the top?
They're not scaled, right?
There's no. Okay, I was gonna say because that would be the only way that I would fucking play with them is I'd put them up where that giant boulder is and then knock them down and then they were.
Some of the rocks are shiny.
Could you put one on a ring and use it to propose?
Maybe.
I know you wanted a diamond, but I got you something better. It's a Rock Lord.
The only thing I can compare them to is remember the scene in Big where he's playing with the robots that turn into buildings? It's like that.
Turn into what?
They turn into buildings in Big. The movie
no, I don't remember that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yes.
Like, kids don't like this. What do you do with it?
This robot turns into a house, kids.
Oh man, yeah. I had to look those up real quick. So I was like, that sounds like something I might, and I don't remember ever having any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just out of sick like nostalgia, I kind of want one just to say, yeah, I own a Rock Lord, but I also don't want to pay money for it. Like, so it's kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Oh boy.
All things considered, like when you look at the transforming robot toys, they're like the cheapest of the ones to collect now.
Oh, are they?
They don't go for a whole lot now.
Oh, cool. All right, maybe I will buy one then. No, what
I paid $50 for a scooter figure from the real GoBots, yeah. But like the Rock Lord is like $30 and under.
So was it the scooter, like the little tiny?
Oh,
scooter?
it's a little, yeah, it's a little guy.
Jesus
yeah. They for some reason they're expensive.
Because I couldn't remember it. Like as I remember, they had the little ones that were like the GI Joe size, but then they had
super GoBots for the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had Leader 1 like that, and I might have had Psykill too. I know I had him like the little Psykill, and then I had Bug Bite, and I don't remember what the futuristic car was.
I think it was literally just called Future Car.
No, it said Future Car on it.
Yes,
it definitely said it. No, but it was, I forget what the name of it was. It was like a fuck. I feel like it was one of the main bad guys.
I don't know.
Yeah, just call it Future Car. I think that's all good.
No, here it is. I see it.
They didn't get those names till they came to America anyway. In Japan, they were just called like Car Robo, Tank Robo. Super
Oh, it
simple.
said Future Machine.
Ah,
It's Psycho is the
there you
name.
go.
So you had Psykill, who was the leader of the evil GoBots, and then you had Psycho, that was the fucking future machine.
See, I have a ton of my entire childhood is in boxes still around my house, and Dad still has some of my stuff. You know, I think I've sent you guys a picture. I pulled out a random transformer out of a box one day and just shot a picture over to you. And I looked it up and it was like, $75 one or whatever it was. It wasn't anything crazy. That's the thing. Like, I have all this stuff, but because it's all parted out or whatever it is, it's just, like Centurions and all these things.
My
You know,
mom, I was buying the Rock Lords. I was telling my mom about them, and my mom told my dad's cousin. We call him my aunt and uncle, but she told her that like, he's been buying these Rock Lord things. She goes, "Well, I don't have any Rock Lords, but I have a box of my cousin's Transformers that are in the basement that his kids played with. But I'm kind of cleaning out my basement. If he wants that, he can come get it." And I wanted it, and I went and got it, and like he had bags of the accessories in there and like everything. Oh, there was some good stuff in there. I still have the box in the dining room. I haven't finished. I went through it. I just haven't put it anywhere yet.
I'm so fucking
A
jealous.
complete Metroplex was in there.
Oh,
Galvatron, like cool shit like that. Like it
I
wasn't
used
the
to have.
first
I had
round, it was like
Metroplex.
the second round of the G1 stuff.
I had Metroplex. I had Galvatron. I had Omega Supreme. I had like all of them at one point.
Or,
Like,
it was Reflector was in there with
nice.
most of his accessories. I went online and ordered like the last two accessories I needed to finish it. That's the Mailway cameras, 3 little robots
Yeah.
from
the three robots that turned into a camera.
yeah, an SLR camera.
Okay.
Perspector, was that the microscope guy was in there too?
Perceptor.
Perceptor,
Yeah. I had
And
Skylinks too.
most of Devastator, everything but one of the robots. So I had to go and order the last one of the robot. All the accessories were there. It was just missing a robot. Like son of a bitch.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like I had like 2 of the robots from Devastator. I'd gotten the one that had the head that came with his head and the chest piece, but it never went beyond that. I had like Mixmaster, and I think it was the little crane dude, which I wanted to call Hoist, but that's that green truck that was an Autobot.
And there was a VHS tape of the return of Optimus Prime, like where they bring him back from the dead after the movie.
Nice.
And I went and watched that online because I'm like, they brought him back to life after he died in the movie, and it was one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen in my entire life. It was horrible. It was worse than any cartoon. Like this.
Dude,
wow,
yeah,
this is bad. This is
yeah. Did you not remember that?
No, I never watched Transformers a lot growing up. I didn't have a lot.
I have so many of my kids' like cartoon memories or Transformers memories. Like that was my jam.
I would change it if it was on the TV.
Really?
I'd listen to the theme song and then go, I'm done.
Oh shit! I watched like every episode. That and G.I. Joe. I would just watch it religiously.
But G.I. Joe still holds up too. Like if you go back and watch the original series, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see. There was a Transformers. So Transformers is weird because it split so wildly between America and Japan. Where like after Generation 1 or whatever you want to call it was done in America, it kept going in Japan. And they did like Scramble City and like all these other different like shows before Beast Wars. And I really want to see all that stuff, but I just eventually I'll look it up I'm sure it's all on YouTube at this point.
But all right, is there anything else we want to chit chat about before we close up shop on this one?
Fuck Dallas.